Hey everybody, and welcome to Game 2 of our Modern Tournament. So this is going to be a match of the team Modern Family against Team KC. So KC is going to be Abimanyu's team, and Modern Family was the name that G Beebs chose for his team. So the teams are going to be Abimanyu, Tango, and Fluffy against Beebs, Hoffman, and Witch Witch. Now, we had some slight issues when setting up the game just because W.D. Smith was not available at the time that he committed to. So instead, we had a substitute. Thankfully, Tanko volunteered. He's another Tier 2 player of roughly equivalent skill. We also had some issues with Game 1. So I won't spoil too much, but basically, yeah, we tried to do a dual cast of me and Tigers, and I was streaming the video to him at the same time so he could see what was going on the map. And I think with the streaming plus the recording the video plus the voice chat and Discord, it caused an overwork of my computer. And so the video is not really up to snuff. So I'll post that video, Game 1, as a private video if you want to check it out. If you don't want to check it out, I will recap what happened. And we're just going to get going with Game 2. So pause now if you want to watch Game 1. I'll link it in the description. Blah, 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 blah. And yes. So what happened was Saucy Sun's team lost Game 1 against Ironclad's team. And that's why Tango is in this game, because he lost Game 1, so he can act as a substitute because he was eliminated from the tournament. So yeah, this is a best of one as a reminder. So the winner of this team goes on to finals to face Ironclad's team. So these maps have been custom made by me, and we'll see what people are kind of doing with them. Let's have a look at what these start locations are for the different teams. So, as a reminder, it's Tango, Abimanyu, and Fluffy. So, Tango, Fluffy, and Abimanyu. Ooh, oh. Interesting. And then we have Hoffman up here, Witch Witch over here, and Beebs. Ooh, okay. Now, we might be kind of gearing up for a bit of a longer game here. So I'm saying this because there are two carry players, like the big strong players on the enemy on each team. Those will be Beebs and Abimanyu. They're both kind of fond of building up. And they both spawned in backline positions rather than frontline positions. So what I mean by that is you'll notice that Beebs is actually quite far away from many of his enemies. He's got an ally here, and the closest enemy is probably down here. And then Abimanyu is in a similar position where his closest enemy is Hoffman over here, and he's spawned kind of opposite of Beebs. I almost said Bieber. So I'll say how that's going to actually play out. I don't know what kind of prep the teams. I mean, we asked a bit during the interviews. So maybe Beebs has prepped his team to do rushes to help him out and kind of drop pressure. But yeah, their builder styles will definitely be rewarded this game, and there'll be a kind of clash late game with two big industrialized nations. So we're turn 1 right now. Turn 2, we can see what governments the different teams went for. Now, you'll notice that Abimanyu actually popped a city here. He got Shanghai for free from a hut, so that's a good pickup for his team. And he started some worker moves. So, I'll notice that Tango... So when I made the spawn, I wasn't really sure what they were going to do, but Tango has opted to plant on spot. So that's a good city. It is one off the coast, but it looks like he's going to be using the city right here as his coastal city. So his ability, because the boat city won't be his hyper-productive capital, his ability to produce boats and stuff like that will be a little limited, but he will still have a big coastal city. Yeah, that's kind of a dilemma with the start, because you have to choose, do I want to plant next to the cow or do I want to plant coastal? Normally I'd choose coastal, but the extra growth from the cow is nothing to laugh at, so it's really player's preference. And Bombay will get the bonus food once Delhi expands its borders. So yeah, here are the different starts. I kind of balanced the starts based with the different factors in mind. So for example, this start right here, it is high. It's good quality land. But the downside is that it doesn't really have access to resources as early. It's got uranium and salt and sulfur, and eventually it can get aluminum, rubber, oil, maybe this oil too, but it'll have to fight for them potentially, especially against this civ over here. We might see like a big naval front going on. If Tango can grow big and like expand to at the very least, the eastern coast over here, if not all the way over here, that'll be a good sign for his team. Oh, sorry, no, wait. Tango and Abimanu are on the same team. So yeah, he'll pretty much have free reign to expand east if he wants to, and he won't really have much competition. I guess we'll see what kind of stuff Tango puts up. So yeah, this starts kind of the opposite of the one I described. The land's not quite as good as what Tango has, but it has much quicker access to resources. It's got rubber, coal, another coal, oil, zinc eventually, and access to this aluminum on the island. So now this actually might be contested, because you got Fluffy over here and Hoffman over here. Normally I'd say like Hoffman's the more dangerous player of the two, and normally Fluffy, he's solid but conservative but solid. He doesn't make too many plays normally. But we'll see what. I mean, he does have quick access to the coast. Unlike Hoffman. Hoffman looks like he's barely getting his second city out. I'm not sure how much I agree with this walk from Hoffman. I would have just planted on the spot. At least you get the rubber when the borders expand. Oh, looks like Beebs has popped. You got some duality going on here. Oh, very interesting. So he kind of opted for something further away from his capital. But he does have the wheat, which is... I should switch governments. So when you're out of despotism, it's 5 food, 6 if you irrigate it. So great tile there. Yeah, let's take a look at governments. Now I expect, if they know it's good for them, Beebs and Abimanu will decide based on their positions in the map. Like they'll say, oh, I got an ally here, I got an ally here. I think I'm pretty safe. I got the water on this side. I can go for a more late game government like freedom or moderation. But maybe they have something else in mind. So let's take a check. We got moderation from the Indians. Order from the Germans. Ooh. Moderation from the Russians. Moderation from the Chinese. Moderation from the Americans. And moderations from the Arabians. Okay, this is actually quite fascinating. So we saw a bit of this in game 1, but I'll comment on it now because it's an interesting development too, and it's continued to become stronger. So in the practice, people had decided that moderation was the best government and that order was second best and good in a lot of spots. Freedom is solid, people decided, but it was strictly inferior to moderation in most circumstances. And that equality was kind of garbage. It does have specific, like you could use it to stall it for score. Equality's good at that, but aside from that, equality's pretty weak. Anyway, so yeah, but you did have different people like experimenting with the different governments, especially freedom and stuff like more orders and more freedoms. But since the tournament started, it's been all moderation, 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 moderation. Everybody is playing very conservatively because they know that money's on the line. That's at least how I like to think of it. So, Hoffman has a pop city, but I don't know. Okay, he actually walked all the way to the wheat. I think that's actually the correct play. The wheat city is quite valuable. Yeah, just having like getting a granary in your second city and having that second settler pump is just fantastic. Or you could use it for workers too. And since it's on a river, eventually it'll be a good drafting city. Of course, he must have scouted Tango by now, and Tango is not exactly far behind in growth. So Tango could go for a boat play either onto the pop here or onto, I mean, I guess if he goes all the way around, he could go to, what is this going to be, Boston? So we're going to go order just for the good spies, and let's get started on the spies. Yeah, Boston. So the spies are what we use as the spectator to see what's going on in the game. So we got an agent in Delhi. Agent in Berlin. failed against China. So yeah, there is only one non-moderation player on the map, which is Fluff. And I think Order is a great choice for Fluff in this circumstance. So the extra worker speed will be very useful for chopping the jungle, and of course chopping the forest too, and for getting some of these mines out. Like as Order, you get like one turn roads on hills and on forests. So your workers are on steroids, and they're very effective at what they do. He'll also be able to get access to cheap harbors and cheap offshore platforms as Order, and I think that's actually useful in both his cities potentially. He'll probably need the border expand on Leipzig, but in the long run, yeah, I'd say he's off to a good start here. Now, this start is a little bit comparatively low food compared to some of the other ones. Yeah, like it's not exactly this one with the cow or this one with the wheat. But it does have iron and capital, and iron's a very powerful resource in this patch. So for people who don't know, iron allows you to build paratroopers. It allows you to build modern paratroopers in combination with zinc. These are just fantastic in this patch. 3 movement and 11/11 on stats. And of course they can airdrop. And then the reason we think iron is OP in this patch is because tanks also require iron. It should probably be like zinc rubber or coal rubber, but in this patch it's iron rubber. So iron unlocks some of the best land units in the early to mid game. So it's a key resource to have. And to have it in your capital is a good thing to have secured. Zinc, of course, is useful too. The one thing with zinc is that if you have zinc hooked, then you draft infantry instead of partisans. And I'd say about 60% of the time, infantry are better to draft than partisans. But partisans actually do provide the defensive bombard. And in multiplayer, defensive bombard is very strong due to a bug. Now, in the early game, that's going to be... The bug results pretty much in an instant kill on the attacking unit. But as you unlock... Like, against a modern paratrooper, wouldn't do that, just because the modern paratrooper's defense stat is so relatively high. So high relative to the bombard stat. But yeah, I mean, infantry are good too. They're 692s, so they have 2 movement. And they actually go on top of partisans. Like, partisans are like the Tau infantry kind of thing. So they're like your basic... They kind of have a similar role to archers in QC, where they're 8-4-1s instead of 2-1-1s. But the ratio is the same, and they give defensive bombard, importantly. So, Hoffman's actually off to a good start here in terms of city size. He's up to size 6 already. And Tango actually went for the settler. Okay, I don't know what he's going to do in New York here, but he has some time. I think the settler might be... Honestly, I'd rather draft and take out New York. I think if Hoffman was smart, he'd abandon New York. He's not going to be able to hold that, but we'll see how it goes. So Abby Manuel looks like he definitely has an early boat out. Let's see what I think our spy failed against him. Ooh. Yeah, but the thing about Abby Manu is it seems he's in wartime, actually, because he didn't get the border expand on Beijing. And often the reason for your borders not expanding is because the reduced culture in wartime mode. And since I'm pretty sure he planted immediately, I can't think of what else it would be. But yeah, this is going to be the continent where the most action is. You see 3 cities from each side already. And yeah, Beebs is just playing for expansion. I can't say I disagree in this position. Now, Witch is still at 3 population, so he's a little behind, but he has a lot of irrigated tiles out, so he's understanding that irrigation is important. And he will have his king here soon to back himself up against the barbarians. Let's take a look inside his city, see what he's going for. Marketplace. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Oh, and he's got 1 per turn growth set up. Good for him. So yeah, if you look, he's using the... Like sometimes, I mean, usually the citizen will auto-default, like the new citizen will default to the high production tile if you have a lot of surplus food. And that will bring your surplus food down, and it will prevent you from growing one per turn. But he has probably micromanaged here to ensure that he has exactly one citizen coming in per turn, because 5 food coming in and 5 food needed to grow. So Abhimanyu is going to see this oil here, so he will probably come up with some ideas of how he might be able to incorporate that information to his play. I don't know if he's planning on doing something that might require oil, but it might be a good idea, I'd say. Now, if you wanted to kind of... Oh, Hoffman's his enemy. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting development. Because Hoffman has expanded along the eastern side of his continent. Which in the 1v1 with Tango is fine, I guess, as long as he reinforces New York. But the important thing is that because of this, it makes himself vulnerable to both Fluffy and to Abhimanyu. I don't know if Abhimanyu has anything in that galleon, but if he does, New York is pretty much his. Okay, got an agent in Beijing. Okay, so he has a partisan out, but it's the one in Shanghai. So he's not really in any... going to be able to attack Hoffman. But yeah, Hoffman might have overextended here. Because he's going to have to defend all of this, potentially New York even, too. And he's only going to be drafting out of Washington, because Boston didn't come online until very late. And he's moderation. So, I mean, if he goes for like early temple, early cathedral, which are cheap if you're in moderation. That's one of the bonuses you get in moderation. If he goes for temple, cathedral, that kind of build, he'll be able to draft a lot and protect himself. But if not, this is a long stretch of road. This is 5 tiles. I mean, we generally don't recommend that you plant 5 tiles away. I mean, we do 2 tiles away normally in mods like MPT and QC. In future and in modern, you have a little bit of flexibility as to where you plant. But yeah, I mean, you could do 5 tiles. Like, this is one of the situations normally I'd say you might want to do 5 tiles if there's like fantastic tile that you have access to. But you have to be 5 tiles away for it. Although he could have just done this. This is only 4 tiles away. Anyway, normally you could do it if you want a really good city spot for your second city in future or modern, not in QC or MPT. But the thing is, this is just a dangerous position. Like, he knows an enemy is here, and he knows his allies are to the north of him, so most likely his enemies are going to be to the east. So exactly the side of the continent that he's planting along. So, I mean, think of the options that Fluffy or Abhimanyu are going to have. They could just send like 1 or 2 frigates and just bombard this road. And as soon as the reinforcements to Boston are cut, it's going to be very, very difficult for Hoffman to kind of address any attack on Boston. Like, you could do bombers, you could do paratroopers, you could just land some partisan. If you landed like a partisan and an artillery right here, I mean, say goodbye, Hoffman, to like protect the idea of like uniting your cities, and you're just gonna have to deal with not having any mobility between your 2 cities for the rest of the game. So yeah, I'll get off his case with that. He is sending the second Tau, or the second partisan. That's what they're called in this, and he's drafting again. Okay, so that's what he should be doing. If I was him, I'd also probably put a city right here, to be honest, just so you have some like. You've already invested in guarding this coast, kind of. You might as well build the place that you've already invested in protecting. And at some point, he's going to have to make a play north for these resources. I think that will be a lot harder for the enemies to contest, though, when he does it. So let's see what's happening with Fluff. So I think Fluff might not quite be on the same page in terms of growth micro. So yeah, ideally, what he'd want to do is you click on this, and then you reassign the citizen over here. And by doing that, you would get the 2 extra food, and you might say, oh, but Suede, I'd lose the production from the mined iron tile. What happens is the new citizen is assigned to the mined iron tile, and so you get the production and you get the growth. And of course, then you have the mined iron tile, so you're below 5 surplus food again, but you can just take it off and put it on the whales. And then you grow again, and you still get the production when the city grows. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that might set Witch. That's why we had Witch as the best of the tier 3 players. Because he's getting good at his builds, and he has had a lot of practice with Modern relative to a lot of the other players. So I expect to see good things from him. I don't know if there's going to be like a direct conflict with him and Fluff, but I'm looking forward to seeing. Now, of course, when I was designing this map, I did like add some interesting goodies on the islands, just so people would have a reason to explore. This is my favorite, because normally I do like resources on or luxuries on the islands. Maybe some goodie huts, but here I decided, what happens if we just make an island with an amazing city spot? Like, you're not going to get a better city spot than that. So if someone was, for example, Equality and airlifted a settler there, that would be a fantastic city for them. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone's going for that. Yeah. I don't know, maybe I should have added some like whales here and some fish just to like make it stand out just that little bit more. So, New York is... Oh, looks like he abandoned New York. I can't say that I disagree with that. That's good. He got the worker out of New York. He might be able to road to the aluminum. Yeah, he doesn't have any aluminum. Like, the closest one is that he knows about is just this one over here. Honestly, if he, like... He's already invested in roading all the way down to Boston, right? If he wants to protect his cities. Oh, where was that? Yeah, he's already invested in roading all the way down to Boston. He might as well just go the extra mile and get military priority over the Indians, and from there he can, like, bomb or cruise the Indian heartland. I guess we should take a look in at what kind of build orders are people going for. I expect to see a lot of stock exchanges. Yo, stock exchange out. What turn is it? Turn 14. Stock exchange done. Good for you, Tango. Probably a good, safe position to be building. Okay, Fluff's actually going for the airport. Trying to think what he could do with that. He has sulfur, so he could be going for veteran fighters. That'd be pretty handy. It can also allow him to airlift settlers. I don't know. Yeah. You know, obviously you can trade resources, but he already has... Like, he's coastal and orders cheap harbors, so I don't really expect to see any... Like, you might as well just get the harbor if that's what you're going for, like, in terms of trade. But yeah, veteran fighters will be useful down the road. Oh yeah, we'll take a look at Abimanu. I expect to see... Or, we'll do them in order, I guess. How's your stock exchange doing, Beebs? Good. Okay, he's got his stock exchange. So yeah, stock exchange is there. Abby just cleaning up barbarians. I wouldn't be surprised. Abimanu, he likes to build a lot, but he defends himself. He doesn't play like recklessly like Ironclad or sometimes Beebs. Oh, he's going for factory. Interesting. I wonder what the... I haven't really theory crafted or tested that. Is it better to go quick factory or is it better to go quick stock exchange? I think the stock exchange is better in most cases because it's more flexible. Because that way gold can be spent on anything. You also don't get like caught with your pants down if you're like 3 turns away from finishing the factory and somebody attacks. But in this position, Abimanu knows he's safe. So I think in this case, the factory opening could pay off. Okay, he's got his settler out. It looks like he's going to colonize the oil. Okay. I mean, it could be the oil. I guess he could be heading for the aluminum too. Or anything, really. Could be heading for this in the center of the map. Oops, I accidentally built some partisans. We'll just do pyramids to be safe. So yeah, that's Abimania's opening. We'll see what's up with America. Okay, yeah, he did go for temple. So he went for early temple, and now he's going for stock exchange. That's not a bad choice, like I said, because he's going to be needing to do a bit of drafting. I mean, if you're like at 50% luxury, then a bank's not really going to do much for you because very little of your money is actually going into your treasury, and that's through your treasury is the way that banks and marketplaces are actually useful. Now, in modern and in future, there's an adjustment made to stock exchange, meaning that it gives you plus 50% to luxury slider as well. So that makes it a big power spike if you can get it early, especially. So it is good for drafting if you get up to it, but still, like I would like to see the temple coming out of Hoffman if he expects to draft a lot, and that's what he's done. So good for him. He also, as I recommended, has gone for the city between Washington and Boston, which I think is a great choice. This one's a little bit further away than the one I suggested, so it does give him more tiles. It's just plains, but it's still handy. I don't think Washington strictly needs the sugar or anything. It's got a lot of other good tiles, so it can afford to give the sugar to Philadelphia. Now, I assume he's gone for a granary in Boston. I'd like to see a lot of workers coming out so he can road to the aluminum and eventually road to the oil and rubber too. Great. Let's take a last look at which. See what build he's going for. So the excited thing... Oh, quick stock exchange. What a surprise. Good choice. Yeah, moderation plus stock exchange is really good in this patch. Like, probably about 5 days before the tournament, it became very clear that moderation was overpowered. But we wanted to give the players some stability in what they learned. Like, we didn't want to be like constantly flipping the script on them a couple days before the tournament. So we left the scenario in its state. So there's not quite as much diversity of government as we'd like, but we are at least going to see some order. Oh, good play, Fluffy. Okay. Fluffy almost lost his settler to barbarians, but he's got his king here. So unless he gets some very bad RNG when the settler attacks the king, or sorry, when the warrior attacks the king, he should be just fine. I'm wondering, is he going for the rubber? Because normally I'd say here, coastal, cow, 2 bonus grassland. Fantastic city. Huh. Interesting. Let's take a look at what Fluffy's doing. So he does have quite a few settlers. Oh, yeah, okay. He needs to be microing his growth. I think he just did in Leipzig. Yeah, otherwise, like, if he's getting a settler every 2 turns and he's growing every 2 turns, it's just going to reduce him in population. I think he might have gone for the veteran partisan. That was fast, though. Wondering if he's in wartime mode. So yeah, generally, for me, have to join. Oh, games in play. Anyway. I better find. So yeah, 2 tiles away. I actually like... Okay, whatever. Okay, so he planted here. I guess he wanted... normally I'd go for the coastal. Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll deal with this first. Normally I'd go for the coastal, because it's coastal, plus 3 bonus grasslands, plus the cow. Fantastic city. I guess he would rather have the rubber, though. And is rubber good? Rubber plus iron is tanks. If he can push towards armored vehicles earlier, he'll be in good shape. So, more interestingly, Tango is made to play for the aluminum. I like this here. Tango has a low resource start, and in his game with Saucy's team, he kind of just he grew tall, but he never really worked on securing resources. So seeing that from him here is, I really like to see that. He also, at the same time, he's denying this from Hoffman. And by establishing control over the aluminum, he effectively gives his team control over the rubber and the oil too, because now he has priority over this region of the map. Like, I guess that Hoffman could still go for a boat play onto this oil, but that would be so dicey with, like, the control that Tango can assert from the position in Bangalore. Like, all he'd have to do in Bangalore is rush cruise missile, walk at 2 tiles, and then 1, 2... Yeah, from over here, he could... from here he could cruise the oil CD. Okay, so it looks like Tango's contact has... I'm not seeing any boats from Beebs. Huh. He is playing aggressively, though. Okay, he's got 1. Okay. I have to say that some of the tier 2 and the tier 3 players here are kind of short on workers. Yeah, I mean, 5's pretty strong, but... You want a lot of workers in Modern. Because resource control is so key, and to have resource control, you need map control. And to have map control, you need to road to all the places you want to road to. That's also a reason that I value so much planting coastal in Modern. I mean, that's a little different because that like makes you vulnerable in some cases, but it does give you more map control. Because let's say you see like a transport here from the enemy, you could just rush a nuclear submarine in Frankfurt. But if you don't have Frankfurt on the coast, then you can't do that. You could also heal your units. Lots of good things you can do with coastal cities. So, the warrior should go for the king now. Yeah, warrior doesn't get a miracle. And, oh god, Fluffy is very short on workers here. Huh, he disbanded for the shields. And I'd say he's just playing very recklessly. As far as I know, his team has not scouted G-Beebs. They have not scouted Witch. So he could be boated at any second as far as he knows. So to not have any defense in any of your core cities is extremely risky. But seems to be playing off. Like if he gets like 5 more workers out, he will have a good industrial core to work from. And he has good resources too. So yeah, I think you see that a lot in Modern, that players like play greedy and they don't get quite punished for it yet because players haven't figured out how to play aggressively or what the timing windows are, etc. Like, I remember I put out a video on the Tau boat, and Killer, another new player who's getting kind of good, was asking me about it, and he was saying, "Oh, I got it out by like turn 25," and I'm like, "Turn 25? No, that's super late." The difference that like 9 turns makes in terms of your attack is everything. If you get your Tau boat out turn 15, if you get lucky, you can take a capital. But otherwise, it's easy to get a secondary city. It's easy to get pop cities. Easy to deny resources. Turn 15 in future, there's almost no danger that anyone will sink you with a submarine or a nuclear submarine or a destroyer. And there's a lot of good things. Yeah, and you scout earlier too, which is very valuable. Turn 25 in future, you're not really going to accomplish anything with a Tau boat. You might be a distraction. It's much more liable to get sunk. Yeah, it's all about tempo, basically. And people are still figuring out those tempo windows for Modern, which is why you're seeing stuff like this not quite getting punished as much. Although I will say that for Beebs, it's safe. He's got a sentry here. He has vision. He's got vision up here. He's got vision from Witch. Huh, Witch is going for the cruises too. That's interesting. Yeah, you can grow super big in Modern super fast. Like in future, a good start at turn 22 would be 4 or 5 cities. Beebs has 6 cities and 2 are drafting size. Third is almost drafting size. Got probably a temple in St. Petersburg, I'm guessing. Ooh, for the double whale, that's good. And he growed to 2 different resources with a colony. And Abimani's going for cruises too. Okay, so we'll see who can get their cruises off. I think naval control is going to be very important here. Fluffy could be doing a lot of good for his team if he built... I think he has uranium if he built a nuke sub. Yeah, the mind... So the downside here is if he didn't... The weird thing is if he didn't mine that hill, the AI wouldn't be consistently using it. It would be using like the whales or the bonus grassland. And he would probably have 1 per turn growth. But he did mine it. I mean, if this is what he's doing, I don't know if he's like slaving a bunch of... We'll check out. Hamburg will be our... Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, he's got his barracks in Hamburg. Sorry, yeah, what I'm saying is that if he had a granary in Hamburg, he should just be in wartime, right? If he's not building granaries and he's not building coliseums, why is he out of war? Like, Order doesn't really need that many buildings, and most of the buildings they do need, like the offshore platform and their wonders, their small wonders that they have access to, can be built in wartime mode. So if you're going Order, you should just use the fact that you're going for an early wartime to punish other people who don't go for early wartime. And if you're not doing that, you should either be building Coliseum, Granary. If you're doing factory, you probably want to be wartime anyway, because you can do you can pre-build the factory in wartime and then you switch out. But yeah, like I said, he will have resources. We'll see what I can do with them. Now, there was a war declaration, but that was just them getting an out of war over here. So Manu's growing pretty big too. But I have to say, in terms of, Oh, he's coastal west. That gives him a good avenue of attack against Hoffman. So Hoffman has gone for some extra workers, and he's roading out this way. Lots of exploration going on. We'll check up on Hoffman's build because he's kind of stalled out in terms of cities. He must be going for buildings because I'm not seeing any units. We'll see if it's anything interesting. Oh, he has a factory. Huh. Okay. I mean, the longer the game goes, the more valuable a factory is. And he has the stock exchange. Now the question, did Beebs go for factory? Because he's the big carry on Team Modern Family. Okay, yeah, he is factory. He's going hospital. It should be done next turn. Interesting, okay. So he's going to hyperload his capital. I'm not sure how I like that because he has more food than production. To make full use of that, you probably need like an offshore platform, which is just in addition to the hospital. It's painful to get. I'd have just gone for a hydro plant maybe and just been done with it. But we'll see if that pays off in the long run. It will be a massive cap. Again, like I hate to see this from new players where they just let barbarians exist. Don't let barbarians exist. Kill the barbarians. You might as well go to kill it and take the promotion. Like the only downside to killing it is if you're taking a unit out of Mecca. But you could potentially promote your own unit. And imagine, there you go. Good. Okay, yeah. So the potential downside is that Mecca's open for a turn, but imagine how bad it would be if you had the barbarian walk here and then somebody landed. It's like, okay, I got my unit in Mecca, but now I got 2 threats instead of 1. Like, if you don't have enough units to take care of barbarians, just draft more, pretty much. Or micro your king to kill them. Interesting. Okay. So we can actually cruise Leipzig from here. Yeah, that must be what he's trying to do. Yeah, you'll see Beebs here being assertive. Taking out the Barb camp. Earning some gold for himself. So let's see what this does. We'll check what's in Leipzig. Oh, the galleon is in here. Oh, he's got a granary, though. So he did go for a second granary. And he walks away. Off to cruise some barbarians, I'm guessing. Okay, Tango growing pretty big. Let's see if Tango has grabbed his factory yet. He does. And the hydro plant's done in 2. So I just remembered the style that is typical of Hoffman. Hoffman loves to build a bunch of buildings in his court, but he never expands. Normally he doesn't even get 3 cities, let alone 4. So good for him this game. He's started moving into more cities. And he's still like getting the same big ticket buildings that he focused on before. So those are both good things to have. He's definitely killed me before off 2 cities though, so don't count him out no matter what. So Beeb's going for cruises. Huh, okay. So China has cruises and they have nuclear subs, but you need sub cruises to put them in nuclear subs. Regular cruises don't go in subs. Again, the same thing here. Should have cruised while you had the chance, buddy. Great job from Fluff here, end of turn, just moving in to do some scouting on the other continent. It's going to be very valuable information for his team. I don't like how he didn't solve this, though. Okay, Hoffman's starting to establish naval priority. But I honestly think the bigger threats are going to be from the south. Nice. Okay, it's nice to see with Tango with these workers here, roading towards Hoffman. Fluffy just looking at her. Oh, he just got a cruise missile. Oh, okay. The Arabs have sunk. Arabia and America. Okay, I think the Arabs were the one who built the nuclear sub and sunk the galleon. But he has at least secured control of the oil. I think he can actually double the cruise missile if Witch isn't careful. Beebs is just going to occupy the entire left side of this continent. I don't know, though. I think if Abimanu, if they can get a kill on Hoffman, and if Tanger survives whatever's coming here, I'd say their team is in good shape because then they have control over 2 continents. Yeah, I think a lot of the game here on these map types. Sorry, I'll explain a bit more about these map types. The way that I made them is I made a Pangea, or Pangaea, or however you pronounce it, and then I just did like veins of sea through the middle. And the idea there was to like split everybody in pairs. And that way you can, you'd have like naval warfare, but also land warfare too on at least one of the continents. Now, of course, I was secretly praying when I made these that you'd have it split like Russia, Germany, America all on one team. So you'd have like a 1v1 on each of the continents, and then they could interact with each other. We're not so lucky. We got 2 civs on the same team on the same continents, but it still makes for an interesting game. So it's interesting that so many of these players, they went for early cruise missiles, and they didn't do anything with them. I guess Russia's are still on a boat. Ah, here comes the sub-cruises. Yeah, China's really making a push towards naval control here. Witch going for like a more diverse approach. Okay, so he walked his cruise missile here, and then he just walked it back. I don't know, that seems a little odd to me. You could have just cruised Leipzig. It probably would have been cost effective. I mean, cruises just cost the same as partisans, right? So if you can get the partisan here, and maybe the galleon too, that's a great trade. Ah, Beeb's filling out the oh geez, 3 cities. Well, he's not messing around. I would like to see a city on the south here. I mean, he's moderation, so he can just buy boats whenever he needs to. It's not like the city has to have good production, but you do need a southern city, just so if you need boats on that side of the map very quickly, you have a way of buying them. Fluff has finally got his third worker and is nearing drafting size in his capital. Ooh, whereas Hoffman's kind of pushing in here. Oh, and he took a worker. Nice, good for him. So yeah, at the moment, Tango has access to uranium and aluminum, and neither of those resources are really good for the kind of push that Hoffman's going for. Just walking in pairs of partisans. Because normally I'd say 2 drafted partisans for a cruise is a bad trade. Kind of even, I guess. But I mean, like a cathedral gives 3 happiness, so pretty much 3 cruises every 20 turns. And it only costs 20 shields, whereas a cruise missile costs 30. Ooh, Barbarian Horseman coming out. Okay. So we'll do another spy check. A destroyer from Russia. Ooh. Don't see too many destroyers in Modern. So the first thing is, like, often the main lines are going for explosives for cruisers and bombers, and for aerial assault for the advanced paratroopers. So often this kind of gets left behind, and you need oil and zinc. So it's 2 resources for what is normally a basic boat. So often it gets ignored. But it is powerful because it can detect nuclear submarines. So by fortifying here, he should be able to see like everything that might feasibly reach him. Okay, it looks like Tango's going to start pushing forward with the cruise missiles. Now, I do wish he'd got military priority earlier, but this will be effective. He can slowly beat back the Americans here. Wait, hold up. So, if he gets into range on Bangalore and somebody passes him resources, he can just kill the Indian city. Like 2 cruises from the road here, even from here, would be enough to empty out Bangalore. And from there, you can simply just walk his partisans in and take the city. And then he'd have aluminum, and Tango would be way behind in resources. So if they're coordinated, I think that would be the best play for them. They might not have that level of coordination, though. I suspect Hoffman might go for bombers instead. Okay, Witch going pretty big, and he has his special forces out. So for people who don't know, special forces are up here. There are 13 9-2s, and they have amphibious assault, and they have like no terrain penalty from hills and jungles and forests and that kind of thing. So if he, for example, walked his cruise missile here and then just cruised Leipzig and then came in with the special forces to use their amphibious assault, he could take the city fairly safely. And I suspect he has naval priority. just based on, like, if Abimanyu had like a submarine up here, I suspect this would have been sunk. I don't know why he's saying, oh no. Things seem to be going quite well for him, given how he opened. There we go. Finally clear. Just kill the barbs. Like I can't say how massive like a 25% chance of getting an upgrade is. Plus you get money for if you kill the camp. Just do it. Ooh, okay. So Beebs is ready here. I don't know if he was spotted by Tango. But he does have infantry, and he's finally taken my advice and started to include more than one infantry. Sorry, more than one defending unit when he boats somebody with cruises. The other day, he just dropped like 3 cruise missiles and a special forces right next to Ironclad. And it's like, all Ironclad needs to do is kill those special forces, and he gets 3 cruise missiles for free. So a very risky play. But here he landed a little bit further away. And in addition to that, he has 2 escorts. So as I mentioned before, infantry actually have 2 moves. So if he wants to, he can take out the Barb camp first, because, I mean, he could just like double with both of his infantry on Lahore, but I wouldn't be confident that I wouldn't lose my sub-cruises if I did that. Once he takes those cities, I'd say the play would be to use a helicopter to reinforce. I'm not seeing any helicopters from him, though. Just more cruise missiles. No, I think that's a bad play. Cruise missiles on their own are just not mobile enough. I'd prefer the play where you just spam nuclear submarines and cruisers and Aegis cruisers. All things that can hold sub-cruises. And then you can actually cruise them from offshore. You don't even need to like land them and risk losing your cruise missiles to the other player. Abimanyu just built a cruise missile early. I guess that's like defense or something? I think that's 2, yeah. Oh, 2 sub-cruises. He has submarines. He has sub-cruises. I really hope some of those sub-cruises are in his nuclear submarines. Ah, okay. Here you see what I was talking about. It's a bit delayed. Ooh, wait, hold up. Nice. Takes Calcutta. And is he going to get the cruise off on... Yeah, there it is. Walks right in. Perfect. Oh, okay. We'll come back to that. I'm curious if he has any... He has oil. Like, he has the resource requirement for helicopters. But he didn't build helicopters. So he got 2 cities off of this, but... Did he just let him pillage his road? Oh my god. Okay, Tango's got some special forces coming out. Ooh, veteran ones out of Madras. I think he can retake Calcutta. So interestingly, you'll see here, he has his galleon. I wonder if he knows that there's another sub-cruise here. If he can, like, steal the sub-cruise, he could really turn things around on the Russians. Yeah, sub-cruises are just... Cruises and sub-cruises are just so powerful, but they have a clear downside, which is that You have to be very careful. Like the ways you can use them are kind of limited. You kind of have to have like military control over an area just to be able to like move them in and get them in position to hit something like a priority target. So yeah, okay, it looks like he's reinforcing this in Heidelberg. Now, it's great that he has a few units there, but that's a lot of units, actually. The thing is, cruise missiles will trade really effectively into that because partisans are so low on defense. So ideally what he should be using is flaks. Flaks are absolutely fabulous at soaking up cruise missile hits. And they're good for anti-air, too, just in case. I mean, which does have the option to start bombing this, although I can't imagine it would do much. Like, the units would just heal in the city, because they heal twice as fast in the city. Yeah, he might even cruise it now. I'd say Fluff is lucky if he gets cruised now, because 2 or 3 cruise missiles would kill this. Would just, like, empty out the city. So if Witch is patient, and he waits for 3 cruise missiles. That's fantastic. Man, he's actually learned a lot from his early days of Future. I remember something similar where W.D. Smith planted, like, on the oil just outside of his territory, and he couldn't really do anything about it. I think he might have spent 1 cruise missile, but it was way too late, and it didn't really do what he wanted it to do. But yeah, I remember in chat being like, build 3 cruises, cruise it immediately, you got to deal with this now. But he went for like the head-on attack and then lost all of his units to defensive bombard. So we'll see if he makes the same mistake now. But he seems to be playing it patiently. He's moderation, so you can just buy a cruise missile in Barca and a cruise missile in Khorasan. Yeah, there you see the defensive bombard. Looks like it'll be worth it for him. He will be able to clean up the... Yeah. And so if you win in combat with a draft against a human player, it's a 50-50 chance of promotion. It's 25 against barbarians, and those odds I just listed are doubled if you're militaristic, but there's no militaristic civs in modern. All the civs have the same traits and no UU. Okay. Huh, okay. Looks like he attacked the galleon here, and he killed it, but he took some damage in the process. And he did manage to clean Beebs' units out of his land, so that's good for him. But now he's got a threat on this threat, threat on this side. Although it looks like he's kind of lost priority here. Oh, he actually... This is very vulnerable. There's only 1 partisan here on each of these tiles. So there's no defensive bombard, so he can just walk in with his own partisan and kill it. Meanwhile, Beebs at least keep the cruise missiles in the cities. Lots of destroyers. Playing very defensively. Now, Abhimanyu is the type of player who likes to go for factories in his secondary cities, so we'll see if he went for that. Oops, that's not Abhimanyu. Oh, interesting. Sorry, we missed something here. Did he go for... We'll check what's in Heidelberg. Ah. They keep on making plays. Oh, what's in the galleon? Ooh. And is Abhimanyu doing anything? Because he's got his subcruises in his nuclear submarines, so we can't actually see them. I mean, we kind of like infer when someone's being hit. Maybe it was Abby. But I haven't seen any evidence to that yet. Now, Hoffman seems to be running low on drafts, but it seems to be fine since he's cleaned up most of the units from the Indians. Anyway, yeah, let's take a look at Canton. No, just the granary. He's making regular special forces. And now he's sailing up here. There could be a sub underneath that, I guess. I just heard a cruise missile. Ooh. Okay, he probably should have done that landing end of turn, but I can't blame him. With all these submarines around, I can't really blame him for being impatient. Looks like he did cruise Heidelberg. But doesn't seem to be effective. We'll see how much is left. I bet there's going to be like 5 2-health partisans there. Yeah, 4 exactly. So he held on. He just needs to figure out a way to clean up these, because he's going to get cruised if he's not careful. I mean, unless he pulls off like a brilliant play, he's going to get cruised. The question is, how much of the special forces is going to be able to do? Oh, huh. What the? That's the weirdest bug I've ever seen. I think maybe there's a... That was the Barbarian Galley? Who knows? So we'll check this out. Did Beebs, did he go for the offshore platform? Of course he went for the offshore platform. It's Beebs. Yeah, it's paying off. 38 shields per turn. Although I'd like to see a mine on this. It is kind of a shame that at 15 pop, you're not even pulling off 50 shields per turn. Although if he was in wartime, I think, and building something that gives you the wartime bonus, I think he would be. That's also 1 subcruise per turn if you need it, so worth taking into account. Ooh, here comes Abby Manu. Oh. Across the ocean. Now, Abby's got his destroyers of his own out. And, oh. Looks like he fired one. Yep, there's the second cruise. Yeah. Berlin has fallen. Great play from Witch. Now, Fluff's a little new. I'm not sure if he knew that special... It's true in Future, and I just brought it over from Future into Modern, where Special Forces do have that bonus movement. Like, they don't take a movement penalty moving over hills and forest, marshes, jungles, etc. So he might not have known that Berlin was actually vulnerable here. So even though Witch's attack on Heidelberg failed, he was able to successfully take Berlin, which is honestly a much more important objective. Like, Heidelberg's not even going to be able to provide anything. Like, it's going to be the longest time before he gets a harbor in Heidelberg. because he's Order. Any other faction could just rush it, but Order has to wait to slave or disband some stuff. Finally clearing out these barbarians. Yeah, so in terms of attacks right now, I mean, this is generally how it goes. Yeah, cruise missiles are strong. I mean, you outplayed them here. He cruised Heidelberg and you survived. He just dumped a cruise missile and nothing came of it. But yeah, I'm guessing he had like maybe 3 units in Berlin, and 2 cruise missiles will make short work of that. 5, ooh, yeah. I mean, it's partisans, right? Partisans are very low on defense. But yeah, the same bug that makes defensive bombard overpowered makes cruise missiles overpowered. So that's what you're seeing happening in this case. But there is counterplay against cruise missiles. You either just don't let the other person get into position to cruise, or what you can do is, yeah, you could just mass units, and then it'll only do like 1 damage to each unit. So 1 damage across 7 unit. Hey people, we're back for our reload. So the good news is, Fluffy actually has like a decent amount of core cities here. So I think he's actually gonna do okay. Which is actually not in a great position to reinforce himself with more cruise missiles too. So if he just can get his allies to pass him aluminum, or so it's aluminum for cruises, and then for sub cruises it's coal plus uranium. So either aluminum or uranium. He can just cruise Berlin and retake. Now if Witch is smart, he'll abandon Berlin and then make a play for one of the backline cities. Like he could double move onto Munich, for example. But Witch is a newer player too, so he might not know to do that. It looks like there was another cruise attempt against Heidelberg. We'll see how much he lost. Oh, okay, yeah, you'll see the special forces died there. I swear to God, every time I go into the espionage screen, something dies. What? Come on. Okay. I guess we'll never know how much was in there. Enough that it required another cruise missile. Yeah, his production's quite high here, you can tell. Yeah, if you're playing Order's kind of good for turtling, I guess. It's like if you know you're going to get beaten around, you might as well be in Order. But the main purpose, one of the main advantages, basically you need to make sure that whoever is playing moderation gets beaten around. Because if not, they'll have a big advantage over you. Because they're just going to be able to get that gold per turn, and with that gold, they can just buy things they need. Whatever they need that's like custom tailored for the situation. Anyway. So. Okay, Abhimanyu. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 unload. That's not great. So there's 7 moves on a transport, right? But the fastest way to unload is with the numpad. So let's say I have a transport here. If I just do 4-4, it will move west-west, and then because there's no water here, it will unload my units onto the forest tile. And that happens instantaneously, pretty much. You can just like hit 4-4 like that, and then it will happen. If I only had 1 move left, I have to do either drag and drop or do 4, and then right-click, click on the units I want, push 4, click on the other unit I want, push 4, etc. You can't do a stack move off of a boat. You definitely can't do a stack move off multiple boats. Like if you have 3 loaded galleys, you have to like click on those units individually. You can't just do like X click and unload all at the same time. So ideally when you're doing a boat landing, you want to have... If the land tile is 7 tiles away, you want to have 7 moves. What the shit? Did Beebs just move his sentry? Oh, he's escorting his transport. He would have seen that. And all of his cruisers are in the transport. And he's got sub cruises to back him up. Holy shit. Where's his queen? Okay, I mean, he's losing buildings at the very least. Shit. Unload. No! No! Oh! Sell the buildings! Sell the buildings! Okay. How did he just... He sold everything except the bank or the offshore or the cruises building. Wow, okay. That's a lot of combat. Yeah, he gets out with the destroyer. That's key. So one important thing after naval engagements is get your units out of there. Like, and the inverse is true. Let's say you see someone land or like nuke you with a nuclear submarine. Your first instinct might be, oh my god, I got nuked. I'm so sad for yourself. Your first instinct instead should be, I need to find where the nuclear submarine is and I need to kill it. Oh, okay. He abandoned Berlin. Nice. He cleared out one of the special forces. Oh, did Bangalore get cruised? Huh, there's a destroyer out. Okay, this game just... that was a bit of a snooze fest for the early game, but that just got really exciting suddenly. Yeah, the key thing is, like, if you kill someone's ships after they do a successful boat on you, then they're not going to be... It's going to be much harder for them to do it again. So very important, clear up as many ships as you can, even if you're dealing with a landing. Hunting down those ships is important. So the downside here is that, oh, it looks like he's going to airbase here. Yeah, Hoffman's untouched. Witch is untouched. The rest of Beebs' empire is untouched. He did lose a lot of buildings here. Like, he lost his factory, hydro plant. He lost a lot. But his allies are fine. Whereas Beebs is untouched, but his allies are screwed. Yeah, like, he can just cruise Leipzig from here. He doesn't even have to walk to the oil. Yeah, and then, God, this infantry on the mountain is... Oh, yeah, 3 bombers. And you can't cruise bombers out of airbase, yeah. Look, it kills the modern paratrooper, but you can't cruise bombers out of airbases. And now he's just going to reinforce. Oh, he has almost no units. He has enough. He's got 3, which is what he needs. Plus whatever's in that transport. I mean, we'll check out and see. Is that heading to Appy? Okay, he has secured his aluminum. Like, he has a flak and he has the special forces there. So he's got the aluminum. He's getting rubber from somewhere. Yeah, I guess maybe Abimanyu's got a spare. Yeah, you're going to start to see the resource gap come into play. Because their team, like, look at this. He's got rubber, aluminum, uranium, and then now oil and zinc. Whereas what do they have? Okay, you got uranium and aluminum here. Sulfur, rubber, and then Abby doesn't even have that much. He has oil, aluminum, rubber, uranium, zinc. Oh, okay. Abby has quite a bit. He's got mechs now too. He's given up naval priority here though. I wonder what Abby's going for. More sub cruises. I mean, that could... At this point, like a snipe on a king would be their best bet. Okay, somewhere on the map... I better start paying attention, because somewhere on the map, Abimanyu's got freaking at least like 4 or 5 sub cruises out. And he's coming for somebody. Okay, you should have done that end of turn, dude. If you double moved on... Yeah, like if you double moved onto the airbase and then you cruise it first, you could take the airbase. But now he's just gonna... Yeah, congrats. He's just gonna put another unit in it. He's not dumb. If he's smart, he'll buy another... Okay, it looks like he bombed quite a bit. Yeah, this is all bombing runs. Now, honestly, if I was Tango, I'd say I need to kill his infantry before he just cruises Bangalore and takes it. So I'd just attack the infantry outright. Yeah, 5 bombers and a fighter. 6 hits. Yeah, I guess he did his second round of bombing already. Seven hits now. Yeah, now he's just going to start ferrying units over. Abimanyu needs... He's got his submarines out somewhere. He needs better map control than this. Honestly, I'm liking what we're seeing from Team Modern Family, from G-Beebs' team. This is the kind of triple threat I was kind of worried that they might be able to pull off. Because Witch and Hoffman are both... They can have impact. Like, they can fight. And at the moment, they're both being successful at killing the enemy player of the same role. Yeah, I mean, now the Special Forces is just on the aluminum, right? Now they get an even bigger bonus if you attack. So you have to decide, do I just let him cut my aluminum? Or do I attack into the even bigger defense bonus? And probably it's 9 defense again. Oh, 13 attack. Oh, yeah. That would have been fine if you attacked here. You'd have already almost been guaranteed. Okay, yeah, now he... That was actually pretty smart. He waited till end of turn to airlift in. Yeah. If he was smart, he would have prepared another cruise missile in Bombay. But he didn't. He could have begged for gold. He could have disbanded the partisan and then... two special forces. But I mean, at a certain point, he's just going to bomb your special forces. You got no anti-air as far as I know. You're about to lose your aluminum. Let's see. Yeah, no anti-air, aside from the flax themselves. but those are only guarding the cities. Yeah, you're about to lose all your roads. You have few workers. Anyway, yeah. In 2 turns, and whatever the fuck is in that destroyer is about to, or in that transport's about to be landed on you. Now, the other day, Abimanyu swore he had given up putting his king in his capital, but I'm not seeing his king. I'm not seeing it anywhere. It has to either be... I mean, it might be a smart idea for a tournament game to just put your king in a transport at the top of the map. But then you'd have to probably guard it. And if you guard it, then... I mean, good luck with that. Oh, it could be in Yakutsk. That would make sense. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, if you put like 2 destroyers and the transport guarding the king, that's pretty safe, I'd say. Although the enemy would probably be able to guess what it is if they found it. But at that point, like, I mean, if you have 2 destroyers and a transport in the city, it would soak up a lot of cruise hits, so you're almost better off leaving that crap in your city. And then you can run away with the king if need be. Okay, it looks like he finally cleaned up the... secured his aluminum. And here comes Beebs, and... Ooh, okay. Tango seems unaware of this. And these guys have 3 movement points. Okay. So if he somehow stumbles into this, he could just cruise the... Oh, he loses the cruise. Yep. Takes out Delhi. Like I said, the flak, it soaks up the cruise hit. We'll take a look now. I just saw 1,000,000 Coruscants. Oh, he actually has a lot of units in there. But yeah, there you see, the flak soaks up the cruise hit. And it actually stays at 1 HP, but doesn't die. I didn't even see anything. Yeah, that's how it happens. Yeah, at this point, literally their only chance at a win is a king snipe. But the king's so far inland that how would that even happen? I guess if you had a cruise 1, 2, 3... If you had a cruise, if you had a submarine here... We'll come back to that. If you have a submarine here, you could hit Yakutsk. If you... I don't know if he even sees Yakutsk. Okay, it looks like he's cleaned up the American destroyer near him. Yeah, at this point, all that Tango can do is buy time. And not very much time at that. I'm kind of curious what Hoffman's doing. We haven't seen much from him. He's got bomber. Oh, yeah, looks like he's bombing. And now this is too far. Yeah, he might be bombing Madras. Yeah. I don't think cruise missiles are bullshit. I mean, sub-cruises might need a nerf, I think. Yeah, I think both might need a small nerf, but the concept is not weak, because it rewards you for controlling the map, because if you control the map, you can set up with this unit, and then you can take out the enemy's entrenched positions. Yeah, defensive bombard there. There it is. King has fallen. And you got another death bug, just like last game. That's okay, though. I'm not sure, but if I was Abby's team, I'd probably GG. It is a tournament game, so he might as well see if he can stick around and see if he can get lucky with a king snipe, but... I think it's important to do carriers so you can spy where the king is. Like, if Abby had a carrier, put a carrier just like A2 or something. Like at the top of the map. Just constantly spy. Don't bomb. Don't let him know that you have a carrier on him, but just constant vision that he doesn't know about. And if you did that... if he'd done that with the carrier, then he would see that, oh, there's only one city that he's actually defending. And that's one that's pretty far inland, but it's reachable with a subcruise. So he could have put 2 and 2 together. You could also use espionage to confirm your hypothesis. And the only counterplay against espionage is, okay, I won't keep my king in a city, so he can't investigate the city to check for my king. But at that point, you're just out in the open, and it's very easy to snipe your king if you have vision. And with a carrier, you would get that vision. Okay, it looks like the enemy team concedes. All right, congratulations to GBeeb's team. Modern Family is advancing to the finals, and they will face against Brave New World. Yeah, that was an astounding play. God. Yeah. I guess that was the point of the cruises. Yeah, I think the war was really won between Witch and Hoffman. Yeah, that was an amazing moment where the one turn Abby was about to attack, he moves his destroyer to defend his transport. I had too much to do. Yeah, it's true. Abby Manu did a really good job this game, but yeah, let's go check. Let's go check the saves. Not these ones. Let's go try to find the turn that Beebs lost his cap. Ooh, I think there's a turn or two after. Yeah, all darkness. He's got a lot of production. He does 1 veteran special force per turn. That's pretty sick. Yeah, he can't see shit. Oh, he had... Oh, he lost the roads, so he couldn't go into Boston. Yeah, he just lost priority over the roads. He needed planes. And to get planes, he needed resources, but he just didn't have any. He should have made a play towards the oil or the rubbers. Mostly the oil. He should have made a play there sooner. So let's tango. Yeah, again, lots of darkness. Now he had some planes, so he could kind of guard against this. But yeah, once the subcruises come, it gets hard. Now Beebs, oh yeah, just tearing up the Pacific Ocean. Boats everywhere. Yeah, here he is dropping off his... yeah. This is when he was clearing up the Abimanyu's submarine. Now, he'd lost his factories at this point, so I think... the production is just so good in these cities. He could go toe to toe with Abimanyu. Yeah, more sub cruises coming out. Yeah, that's great, but without boots on the ground to back it up, it's not going to get, or like intel as to where the king is, it's not going to get too much done. Yeah, just look at the income here, 120 per turn. That's fantastic. Yeah, 78 per turn. He can just buy whatever he wants. And compare that to... Oh, Tango had 70 per turn, even towards the end. Like, he could buy the cruises he needed to. He just couldn't get them into the right position. Fluffy, of course, not much gold per turn because he's order. And then 100 from Beebs. Yeah. And what was Abimanyu at? Oh, Abimanyu was like full steam ahead in teching. Huh, he actually didn't really focus on commerce that much. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, that was a great game. Yeah, Witch, like, I wasn't expecting Witch to play this well, but he played quite exceptionally. So I'm very, very proud of him because he's a relatively new player, and he kind of helped carry his team. When to switch for more with the unit costs. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.